Good evening, everybody, and welcome high above the chai. Jimmie Allen with you here out of Creighton Scrimmage matchup with Iowa State as a preseason game to kick things off. We're getting a little bit of a look at shoot-around right now. The Jays under the home basket getting ready for this matchup with Iowa State. One massive thing of note, Jackson McAndrew is currently in sweatpants and is not shooting around with the team right now. We're going to talk to Steve Murfeld after the game. Don't forget to check out the show to get up to date on how this scrimmage went. Obviously, not a great look into how this season is going to look. A ton of guys on this bench. It's going to be really interesting to see how this team morphs in and out, and exactly what the starting lineup looks like and then what the last lineup of this team looks like this season. Now, obviously, Jackson McAndrew doesn't seem to be participating right now. It looks like he's going to sit out of this game. He's a big cog in the wheel for what Creighton wants to do. He's moving around well. It doesn't look like it's an injury. This might be a coach's decision, but for Creighton fans coming to the game tonight, not the first look that you're going to get at Jackson McAndrew this season. I know it's hard to believe with his frame, but it looks like he may have put her 1 to 2 inches on in the offseason height-wise, too. He looks bigger. He looks like he's been in Jeremy Anderson's weight training program and under the tutelage of Greg McDermott for 2 years now. Noticeably, the one thing that just standing out about this team while they're down on the court shooting around is the size difference. Casey Matthews and I have been talking about this all offseason. This size, the length of this team is completely different from anything else we've seen from Greg McDermott all the way up to this point, from a guard standpoint, all the way down to the 5. Now, you don't have a 7-foot rim protector and Ryan Kalkbrenner starting, but you have Aleska Dimitrovic, you have a Karam Cohen, two guys that are bigger in stature compared to Owen Freeman, who will get the start, the 6'10" junior from Iowa who transferred into Creighton this season. There's a ton of red in the crowd already. A lot of people from Iowa State and Ames making the trip over to Omaha to be able to see this, but also obviously Josh Dix, the Council Bluffs native, making his debut-ish in a Creighton uniform tonight. Obviously, this game doesn't matter. Really interesting that they decided to continue with this game, considering the fact these two teams are going to see each other for sure in the Players Era Festival. But right now, a lot of people still trickling in. We're about 12 minutes away from tip-off here at the Chai, and this is the Roll Jays podcast. A lot of people joining us maybe for the first time for the Big East Energy Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Big East Energy on YouTube, and we are brought to you by Pepper Jacks and Pyramid Contractors. The most interesting guy to me on this entire roster is being shown on the big screen right now. I am really interested to see where Jason Green fits into the equation of this team. The Omaha North product in his third year here in Creighton's program. At the end of last season, he felt like he was the defensive presence outside of Ryan Kalkbrenner that was the most relied on by this coaching staff. And we've heard it from Mac. We've heard it from Murph. We've heard it from this entire coaching staff that a lot of guys struggle when they show up in Omaha for the first time defensively. Like Greg McDermott and Alan Huss now being out of the equation are going to be known for their offensive skills, scheme set, and what they do, let it fly, and being able to score the basketball. The one thing consistently, despite the changes on the staff from an assistant standpoint, is the way Creighton wants to play basketball while Ryan Kalkbrenner was here. Obviously, master at drop coverage. You could funnel everything into him, and that was good. And that was going to be the case. You were going to have somebody to stop them at the rim if they got past your defense. Now, before Ryan Kalkbrenner got here, there was a ton of hard ball hedges, and guys like Christian Bishop were playing switch-off defense and using a lot of pin downs to try to limit athleticism. What is that going to look like tonight? And what it looks like tonight, is that what it's going to look like on November 5th when the season actually kicks off? Now, Ryan Kalkbrenner is not Owen Freeman, and Owen Freeman is not Ryan Kalkbrenner. If you haven't checked out our interview with Owen Freeman yet, please go back and do so, because the one piece of advice that we asked him, or if he got any advice from anybody, it was don't be Ryan Kalkbrenner, be yourself. And obviously those two guys have such a different body type and such a different skill set. There's no way that you could try to emulate somebody the size of Ryan Kalkbrenner when you're just not that person. So we know about Owen Freeman's knee injury. How much is that going to play into the amount of time that he's allowed to be on the court if he plays at all? He was in warm-ups. We saw him shooting around. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to either play tonight or get a ton of playing time. We're gonna take a look at this team for the very first time this season, but I will caution Jays fans. It's a scrimmage. Mac understands he's got to see this team in less than a little under a month. in Vegas. He's not going to do too much and put too much on film, even though him and TJ Osselberger know each other so well and obviously have a close relationship and have for a long time. And listen, there's a lot about this team that's going to look familiar because of Greg McDermott. And I know Alan Huss was here for one stop. There are so many different faces. And being able to see Blake Harper up close and personal a few minutes ago, he looks like a completely different kid than he was at Howard. He looks like a college basketball player in college basketball shape. I was a little surprised to see how much. We did an interview with him as well. Go check it out on the channel with Casey Matthews and talked about his journey and changing his body and what that has looked like. I was blown away with how just different he looks than he looked on film. And obviously people look different close up than they do on film, but doesn't even look like the same person. And he made about 11 threes in a row. Now, we know what Jason Green means to this team defensively. He does have his, let me rephrase that. He had his limitations offensively in the past. And if you need a bucket or if you need a stop, that might dictate who plays that 4 spot between he and Blake Harper. Now, Blake's shot is better right now. Does that not mean Jason can't eventually come along and be that offensive weapon for you? We'll see, right? There's always that option. But this coaching staff, and this is what Mac does better than anybody, right? He finds out how to utilize his rotation to the best of his ability and make sure that the best 5 guys are out there when they're needed. But this coaching staff has a spoil of riches this season with trying to figure out who's going to score the basketball. Now, I think Josh Dix is going to be your go-to guy when you need a basket, but they've also got to figure out the rotation at point guard. Where exactly do you fit a guy like Ty Davis in when you have a Fedor Zivic and you do have a Nate Graves? And Nate was out there, Nick Graves, and Nick was out there shooting around today, and he was all like, I've never seen this in a shoot. He was out there working on his passes, even to the Mana Jays too. So I think this team has so many levels of complexity to it. This coaching staff is in a good spot where they're just going to have to figure out where the best pieces fit together. That's why tonight is going to be so interesting if you're a Creighton fan, because you're going to see so many different options because it doesn't matter what the scoreboard says at the end of this from a standpoint at the end of the season. Now, these coaches want to win this game. I know it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but TJ Osselberger and Greg McDermott aren't agreeing to do this game unless it's actually going to mean something for this team. And obviously, both of those guys, huge video nerds when it comes to just breaking down the game. This is the Roll Jays podcast on the Big East Energy Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Big East Energy. If you're just joining us as a Jays fan, you want to keep up to date on all things Big East, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. All of our channels representing all the schools throughout the Big East Conference. We're going to take a quick break here, come back as they break down things here on the big screen at the Chai. I'm Jimmie Allen. This is the Roll Jays podcast on the Big East Energy Network.
Why you need to try Pepper Jack's Grill, the best Philly cheesesteak in America. At Pepper Jack's Grill, we craft your Philly just the way you like it. Fresh ingredients, sizzling on the grill, and endless customization options. Not just Phillies, we've got rice bowls, burritos, nachos, and even vegetarian choices. And don't forget those crispy fries with our famous spicy ranch. With 10 great locations in Omaha, there's a delicious meal waiting for everyone in the family. Pepper Jack's Grill, your Philly, your way.
At Pyramid Contractors, we do it all. From repairing or replacing your roof to updating siding, windows, or gutters. When you have a home improvement project, call Pyramid Contractors.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
Welcome back to the Chai. As you can probably hear in the background, the Budweiser song is playing for the first time. It's not quite the same without the Creighton students in attendance to sing along with it. Really kind of wondering exactly what this crowd was going to look like tonight, with it being a scrimmage, being a Friday night. There's a ton of high school football going on in the area. It's about 1/3 of the way full right now. Obviously, still got a few minutes here before tip-off. People still filing into the Chai. Don't forget to tune in to the Roll Jays podcast immediately following the game. We're going to catch up with Steve Murfeld. We're going to break down everything that happened in the scrimmage. Excited to see what Iowa State looks like. Really excited to see what the pieces at Creighton look like for the first time together. Again, Jackson McAndrews in sweats during shoot-around. Hopefully we're talking about him playing after this game is over. We'll see how this all works out. I've been Jimmie Allen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Big East Energy to keep up to date on all things Big East basketball. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you after the game.